the schools that we manage, through the retail operations that we're able to be a part of. It's still trust that we're sort of selling and having that connection with the people. And I think what's important here is that I think over the last decades or years, the people have sort of lost trust in the ability of markets and business to create wealth and to fairly allocate opportunities. So I think it is important for business to reflect on its role and the role that it can play in society. But I think this is important not only for business. I think no matter who we are, whether it's in government, whether it's in education, whether it's in media or NGO, this provides us with an important time to reflect on the idea of stewardship, how we can be better stewards of what we've been given, and how we can all rethink what we're doing and better structure our institutions to reflect the realities of our world today. So for those reasons, I wanted to thank the World Economic Forum for giving us the opportunity to reflect on these issues. There are many challenges, but I think we live in a world that's extremely exciting. And if we can get things right, I think the opportunities are endless. Thank you, Murat.
Thank you, John. Tessie, switching over to you, what are your thoughts from Philippines and also from a regional perspective?
In these 2 days, I can see the increase of awareness and also the upbeat on the ASEAN economic community. Although there are a lot of things that we still have to do beside the tariff, I think that there is an understanding of the freer movement of human capital, specifically the skilled worker and professionals. And a lot of people share my sentiment on this area, and I'm quite happy about it. So I'm glad that Indonesia and also the WEF have provided us a venue to express what we think about the freer movement of the human capital. And I'd like to mention also that in the past few years, before Philippines is in the investment map, when they speak about Southeast Asia, it's usually Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And I'd like to tell you that the Philippines wants to also be actively participating in this area. And it's not only the other countries where Thailand and Myanmar and Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Philippines is very much interested to participate in the ASEAN integration.
We look forward to that. Hans Paul, you're the fact checker of this group. And you had highlighted a couple of points in the opening press conference as well. So what are the key takeaways that you would like us to part with from here?
Yeah, I must say I was indeed very impressed and also encouraged that, of course, President Jokowi, but also ministers from Indonesia, from the Philippines, from Malaysia, from Thailand, from Cambodia, from Vietnam. I think they all expressed the desire to make this work, to open up movement of talent, of course, but also be willing to open up their markets for competition, to create a level playing field. And while, of course, there are lots of still obstacles on the way, and I'm sure not everything will be as easy as being put in words, but I think it is indeed encouraging to see that there is a great willingness to engage, to make this work, and to fill the words with action. And so I think one of the key elements, of course, for the ASEAN economic community is to move forward, to really create a level playing field, a much bigger market, and I think then to fulfill its promise to its people, the more than 600 million people, to really grow the pie significantly over the coming years. And I think if that's working out, we will see massive investments, additional investments into the region from all over the world.
Thank you, Hans Paul. Ambassador Swing, the movement of people, your area of focus as IOM.
Thank you very much. I'm really grateful for this forum. I'm very excited about what I've heard and seen and what I've listened to. I'll go back with a much better sense of what's happening in this very dynamic area here. I'm grateful particularly to our Indonesian hosts here who've been wonderful. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Sorry.
John will
Sorry.
answer it.
I apologize. I should have left it. I should have left it. but-
Cooperation.
Yeah. But I wanted just to make 3 points. First of all, I think that it's quite clear that with the very exciting regional integration that is taking place here, that human mobility or migration in its classical term will be greatly increased and expedited as a result of that. Now, having said that, the second thing is we need to look on it both as a challenge and an opportunity. And I think with the right policies, we can make it work well. We need to do a number of very simple things. One is we need to begin a program of public education and information and awareness raising. That mobility is really a great asset to us here. We have a lot of talent in the area, and we need to get beyond the stereotypes and fears that we've had about people coming in to our countries or our people going to other countries, and the fact of the differences and so on, to realize that these are great assets for us. Now, if we do that well, we need to do something about the recruitment agencies to make sure that they are legal and not corrupt, that people are being recruited under the right circumstances. We need to do something about lowering the cost of remittance transfers. Above all else, we need to ensure greater physical security. Too many people are dying along the migratory route. We're very much seized with the fact that 1,600 people have died in the Mediterranean since the 1st of January, so we need to deal with that. Final point is very simply to say what I've repeated before. Large-scale migration is inevitable given the demography and the disasters and the job demand. Secondly, it's highly necessary if we're going to do the jobs that need to be done, have the skills available, and be able to have flourishing economies. And finally, it's highly desirable if we have the right policies. So let me once again formulate my thesis, which is that essentially migration is not a problem to be solved. It is a reality to be managed. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've seen that, sadly, in Europe in the last couple of days as well, and that highlights the importance of policy and physical security. Pabudi, I'd like to come to you as our co-host. What are your thoughts, and if you can summarize the sentiment and the opportunities ahead, please.
First, I would like to share my experience last night because my boss, the coordinating minister of economy, after the meeting with the vice president, came to see me and say, by the way, that young Philip Rosler is from WEF, right, Budi? Yes, he wear a very nice blue shirt batik. So for you that you don't know, Philip Rosler is the managing director of WEF, and he is wearing a batik yesterday. And my boss mentioned that he's wearing a beautiful batik. So I feel guilty. So today I'm wearing a batik, you know.
You look as good, if not better than Philip.
I'm not as slim as Philip and not as tall as Philip, but at least Philip, I try to represent Indonesia, it's not only you. And thank you, I'm also wearing blue because I just want to recognize that the color of WEF is also blue.
We appreciate that, thank
We
you.
appreciate that. World Economic Forum that I like is because it is informal versus formal. It is not about presenting and listening, but it is about two-way communications. And it is not only about signing a formal agreement, but it is developing trust mutually among the attendants of World Economic Forum. I just went to 4 events, including 2 in Davos, 1 in the Philippines, and 1 in Indonesia. I feel at home already. And I strongly believe that we can get things done and deliver impact faster if we do have a mutual trust that we develop through these meetings. Because you can easily meet with the executive, with the bosses, leaders, not only government, but also business leaders, social entrepreneur leaders, and also art and culture leaders in World Economic Forum. So I strongly believe, and thanks to World Economic Forum, that you have done and choose Indonesia to do this event. I really thank you, and also for all the audience to come to Indonesia. The second one is about Indonesia itself. Until 2030, 50 million Indonesians will enter middle class. That will give you ample opportunity to do business here. You can do business in health, socially, or you want to do business in food and beverage, you do any kind of business in Indonesia. 50 million is above the population of South Korea. It's slightly below the population of Thailand. So there are ample of opportunity. We have some difficulties. Indonesia always have difficulties, especially financially. But as I mentioned during my first panel, the good things about Indonesia, when things are bad, we make good policies. Of course, when things are good, usually we make bad policies. But that's why we always need something, a downturn for Indonesian leaders to make good policy. But I'm optimist. If you're talking about optimism, you're talking about the future. And I want to give you a real example of Indonesia in the future. I'm 50 years old. John is 30 years old. I'm shorter, he's taller. I work as a banker, he's an entrepreneur. Of course I have enough money, but he's definitely richer. Right?
But that's which is Mandiri.
But the most important thing, I'm Indonesia at present, and he is Indonesia for the future. So be optimistic about Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As the World Economic Forum, the international institution for public-private cooperation, we share the same sense of optimism with the realization of the challenges ahead and our responsibility as a global community to take action. I stopped a few of the participants and I said, what do you think? And the common response was, it all sounds great, but is it going to be mostly talk or will we take action? And I think it's time to take action as well. And on that note, I wanted to highlight 4 initiatives that we focused on as the World Economic Forum here in Indonesia. The first one is Grow Asia. Today, we officially launched the Grow Asia initiative in partnership with the ASEAN Secretariat. We had over 170 leaders from ASEAN governments, global and local private sector, farmer associations, civil society, donors and international organizations who came together to commit to developing agriculture in ASEAN. They committed to reaching 10 million smallholder farmers and helping them improve their productivity, profitability, and environmental sustainability by 20% by 2020. And we will report progress on each of the East Asia meetings in the coming years. The second one is the strategic infrastructure as outlined by President Jokowi in his speech. We had over 40 leaders from international and domestic business community who met with senior government leaders of Indonesia on improving public-private cooperation and accelerating the implementation of Indonesia's infrastructure plans. The World Economic Forum and Asian Development Bank have committed to work together with the government of Indonesia on deepening this cooperation. Financial inclusion, as we talked about, is key. 490 million adults in East Asia and the Pacific are unbanked, accounting for nearly 25% of the global total. Public-private collaboration is the only way to reduce that number. The Forum's Financial Inclusion Initiative launched its first partnership here in Indonesia a year ago, with plans to expand to another East Asia country in the coming year. And we did it in collaboration with International Finance Corporation, OJK, and Bank Mandiri. And finally, healthy population is key to sustainable growth. We are, as the World Economic Forum, focusing on non-communicable diseases, NCDs in short, and its impact on the economy of Indonesia to address the challenge. NCDs are diseases such as cardiovascular, cancers, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes. NCDs kill 38 million people each year. Unlike the conventional wisdom, almost 3/4 of NCD deaths, 28 million, occur in low and middle income countries, a devastating blow to economic ambitions of these countries. Going forward, our discussions here will help shape our health program on a global level at the forum, and we will bring together experts from all stakeholders and identify the challenges, possible solutions, and bring it back to the regions that we're actively engaged in. to move towards a healthier Indonesia and Asia. To achieve these goals, building and maintaining trust between and among the businesses, governments, and citizens